2, 1, record. Welcome to this edition of Sagionic 1027. We are glad that you've decided to join us again. And I'm very excited for our guest today and what it is that she is going to share with us today. I should say on this today that she's going to share with us. But before I share with you our special guest we have tonight, I would like to share with you a little bit about what is Sagionic 1027. So the word Sagion means wisdom carrier. The word Sagionic means movement by movement in time. So here we are displaying those with business minds, those with the fierce work mentality. They are actually wisdom carriers. Not everybody owns a business, right? Not everybody is an entrepreneur mind. Say, for instance, like my husband. He's worked for the same company for 31 years. Now, in my books, that's called business integrity, because you are not at the same company for 31 years unless you're doing something right and you know how to check in every day and check out. And so he's just been a prime example to me of what a person with a business mindset looks like. And so our goal with Sagionic is, how do we take business minds? How do we take business principles? How do we take work ethics? How do we take examples where somebody, oh snap, that didn't work, so we tried it this way. How do we take all of this knowledge that is inside of other people? How do we squeeze it out of them and then splash it everywhere else for other people to glean from and to learn and grow and potentially start their own journey on how to be upright in business? So let me read a little bit about our speaker we have today, which I'm so excited she's here. Our speaker is Olajumoke Elkanah. And I met her a couple of years ago. Actually, I met her at, this is pretty interesting, the day I met my sister. I was at a gathering getting ready to prepare for somebody I knew who was going to have a wedding. And on that day, I said to the father, I don't want to be your daughter on the floor no more. I don't want to be your daughter cleaning the showers no more. I don't want to be the daughter that does that anymore. And do you know the Lord heard my prayer? And he transitioned me out of that into a ministry. So he hears us. He hears us. He gives us the desires of our heart. So our sister Ola is a co-pastor of RCCG Winners Garden in Salem, Oregon. She has been in ministry since she was a teenager and has worked in different capacities in the church, specializing with children and young adults. For over a decade, she has organized monthly outreaches for feeding the homeless and spreading the gospel to in Marion County. She is passionate about women and hosts Feast of Esther in Oregon, an organization in charge of pastors' wives and women in ministry. In addition, she preaches at the women's shelter, encouraging women growing through various types of abuse. She holds a degree in accounting and finance and is certified in marketing with experience in banking. Her husband is a licensed, what is PST? What is
Pastor, yeah, just me.
Okay. Well, you threw me for a second. I'm like, wait a minute, am I introducing somebody else? Pastor Ola is a licensed cosmetologist and owns a full-service beauty salon in Salem. Alongside of that, she owns an African grocery store and has developed her own brand of African food called Flourish Spices. Her products range from puff puff to pancakes. She is happily married to Pastor Olajumoke Elkanah. Olawale, is that correct? Olawale
Yes.
Elkanah, and their marriage is blessed with 4 wonderful children, Dara, Danielle, Divine, and Demi. She is currently encouraging mothers with children experiencing disabilities with an online series called Special Needs Story. So if I was in a venue and there was women and men standing all around me, I would say, can we give my sister a round of applause for how beautiful she has yielded to all the areas to be stretched.
Thank you.
So, welcome,
Thank you
welcome,
so
welcome.
much.
Sister, today is all about you. Today is about you sharing with our viewers what's on your heart. What do you want to deposit into the lives of others? So, take it away.
Thank you so much. And thank you for that beautiful introduction. Like every time I look at it, I'm like, are they talking about me? Well, anyways, I've always known I would be an entrepreneur since I was a young girl. I've always been selling and buying. And recently I was thinking, I think this food thing has always been there because I just thought of it. I'm like, I think I got my first catering job at the age of 11 or 12. And I know I've always sold while in college. I sell earrings. I People come to my room to buy, I go to the market, just buy little hair pieces, earrings, jewelry, and I just put a little amount and I sell. So I've always been selling. And of course, I grew up in Nigeria, and I thought I was probably going to do a white collar job. And my husband still laughed till today that sometimes he would look at me, he was like, I can't believe this is you, because he thought he was going to marry a woman with long nails, high heels all the time, going to the hospital. The ladies that can't do dishes, sophisticated. That was what he thought he married. He didn't know he married a woman with so many packages.
Because the father knew that he needed a woman who kept him on his toes.
Yes.
Okay, well, let me pause you for a second. I want to know what was your first business? Because this is becoming a resounding thing on these women that I'm interviewing. Right about 11, 12, we busted out with our very first business. So what was your very first business at 11 and 12?
My very first, I think, is the food.
Okay.
Because I remember, my parents, the way Africa is, you're rich today and tomorrow everything just goes back to zero. So I had to change to a public school. I know public school in Nigeria is public, really, really bad. Public school in America is actually very, very good.
Okay.
So when I was in primary six, that was probably grade six. So we're supposed to go to like middle school, because I came from a private school to that school. And I was just like the middle class rich kid. I expected that at the end of the year, we're supposed to do a graduation party and everybody is just going to graduate and just go home. So I remember telling the kids there that, why are we not doing graduation party? They say, oh, what is that? Because it's a school for the poor. So I told them to contribute money. So they contributed money for me, and I took it home because my mom is a secretary at a bank, but she cooks on the side as a caterer.
Okay.
So she has everything.
Okay.
So I got this money from all these 10, 11 years old kids, and I went to the market, bought rice and my mom, she was busy. I can't remember whether she helped me, but I know my auntie helped me, and we cooked the food. I remember it burnt, but we had it like that. We took a taxi, and we had a graduation party.
Because you had the gift of hospitality.
Yeah.
It was woven into you. Hospitality,
Yes.
it's a gift. So those with hospitalities, we have to have parties.
Yes.
This is great.
So that was my first business at the age of 12.
Okay. I like it. I love it. I love it.
So of course went to secondary school, which is like middle school, high school. Because it was a boarding school, I can't remember I sold anything, but I just remember that I've always loved to help people. I'm this mother hen. I just wanted to help. I just have all these ideas in my head about how I want things to look. I'm a woman that likes excellence. Even though when I don't have it, I like things to be done the proper way. I'm not a perfectionist because my house is not super clean. It's crazy. But when I'm doing something, I want to do it well.
That's right.
So that's the way I realized I was built. So fast forward, when I got to college, I just knew I was always helping my mom to do, because my dad died very early. So I always helping my mom to do business. I'll go to the market, buy things with supply, like supply change. But I now remember in my room in college, people are always knocking the door to buy something. I'm always selling something.
I love
So
it.
I just have to sell.
Yeah, I love it.
And I thought I was gonna work in the bank, sophisticated, and things like that. I actually worked in the bank for a few years. And once I got married, I just told my mom I was gonna resign. Mom was like, "Oh, that's a good job." I'm like, "I just want to do cake." So I went to a catering school. I learned how to make cakes.
Okay.
And I've watched a lot of movie growing up, American movies. So I
Okay.
remember I was one of those people that started this in Nigeria. I call it Secret Santa
Okay.
in
Okay.
Nigeria.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So because I've seen it in movies where Santa will just surprise people at home.
Yeah.
So I brought it to Nigeria. I didn't have a lot of money there. It wasn't sophisticated, but I got someone ridiculous Santa Claus costume for me. It was bad. I got like cotton balls to do the bears, and I got my brother-in-law who lives with me to wear the costume, and I stuck lots of pillow in his stomach, and I Secret Santa all over the town of Lagos, city of Lagos.
Oh.
And every Friday, I bake a lot of cakes. I put in my husband's car with the driver, and I drive all around town, going to all these offices and telling them, "Oh, I sell cakes," because my then back in Nigeria, you must be it must be your birthday to have a cake. But I had these ideas from what I watched on TV. I decorate it. So I just knock on people's offices. I dress very well with high heels. I'm like, "Oh, I sell cakes." I'm like, I already made it in little small, decorated it. I said, like, that was all I did till I left Nigeria. And I did parties for kids too. I did entertainment parties. I take contracts. We organize a party. I get DJs, Teletubbies, and all these people, and we make a party. And the costume. Now I see that the costumes were ridiculous.
Okay, wait. I got to stop you for a second because there is a saying, there's an American saying that says you could sell an ice cube to an Eskimo. Okay, you could sell an ice cube to an Eskimo because you are walking
Yes.
advertisement for anything you put your hand to. You are the advertisement.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. Okay, take us away again.
Yeah. So when I knew I was coming to the US, and everybody told me, "Oh, you must be able to do something with your hands, and things like that." So I knew I could do hair, but remember, I like education. I love
That's right.
school.
Okay.
So anything I want to do, I want to make sure I know it very well. So I
Yeah.
remember I went to my hairdresser. I said, "Can you teach me the little tricks that I don't know?" So because my house is full of girls, my mom had three girls,
Okay.
and of course my dad died early. So two of my aunties live with us, my cousin lived with us. So it was a girls' hostel,
Okay.
and we have this little thing that we've laughed at, like. So when somebody's knocking at our door, they will say, "Just hold on, because there could be a bra hiding somewhere on the couch." Because it was a girl's hostel. So like, let's check, make sure everywhere,
Yeah.
let's make sure everywhere is good. So we do each other's hair.
Okay.
But when I was coming to the US, I went back to learn, my hairdresser. I said, "Can you teach me everything I need to know? Teach me the little secrets that, things." And I knew I don't know everything because I was just doing hair for the fun of it then. And I learned how to make jewelry. I learned how to make hats, the church hats,
Yeah.
those nice hats, the cinnamon hats. I learned how to do that too.
Okay.
And I came to the US with my 15 months old baby and my husband. And when I came, I started in Georgia. So I did all the kinds, I did all the jobs. Worked on Ruby Tuesday, dishwasher, salad girl. I worked in the warehouse. But as I was doing those things, I was braiding on weekends and making Nigerian cakes. You know, our cake in Nigeria is more of a sponge cake. It's just like the European cakes because in Nigeria it's more of the European side, not the American side.
Yes.
So all the things I learned from catering school, so I was just telling people at church, oh, I could do this. So they were like, oh, cakes that doesn't have sugar like an American cake. So I was doing decorating. I was just doing on the side till I got myself together. And fast forward, we came to Oregon. So when came to Oregon, I told myself, I'm not going to work for anybody. I just want my own business. It does not
Yes.
matter what it is. I just want my own business. So when I got here, I went to school. I went to beauty school for 2 years. Like I was in and out in 2 years. I learned everything I needed to learn. And I was just like, just for the experience part, I needed to work at Great Clips. So I worked at Clips for 3 months. But the way God works, I was already looking for a place of my own. I got fired on Tuesday. I got the keys to my shop on Thursday.
Ah, come on. That is good.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
good.
Yes. And God is so good that the lady that fired me just because she wanted to bring the person that, in Great Clips, it's all about speed. It's not all about the customer service.
Okay.
So someone left. She has worked at that particular Great Clips for 11 years. She said she was tired. So I got hired. So the person wanted to come back. So they did everything to get rid of me. So, but they didn't know I was already planning to leave. So I got fired on Tuesday. I got the keys to my new shop on Thursday. A week after, I got a call from all the ladies that they said, oh, we have a few customers looking for you that they said wherever you go, they want to. Because was just 4 months or so. I've already
Yeah.
built and people wanted to follow me. So the lady that fired me also got fired.
Wow,
Yes.
because the owner lost business, lots of business.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
So she got fired. So I was just like, oh, it's okay. And I think I've seen her a few times after that. And I started just building the shop. And the trying things there, when I started with the shop, I didn't have no clientele, apart from the few people that knows me for haircut. Mind you, they didn't know me for braids. They knew me for haircuts at the Great Clips.
Well, yeah,
So
because at
when we
hair
opened the
clips, they
shop,
don't do braids. They don't hook a
yes,
sister up with braids at hair clips.
I know. So, so when my teachers in school, in the beauty school, when they heard that I opened the salon, they were like, Ola, what are you doing? You don't even have clientele yet. Do you know what I told them? I said, I have what other people don't have.
That's right.
They
That's
said, what do you
right.
have? I said, number one, I have Jesus. Number two, I have the talent. So I told them I have those two things. So I just opened the shop. No, I don't know anybody who, I know I can braid. So I know that one would be a plus, but I don't have no clients. So I opened with faith. So first week, I walked in with my purse and I was like, okay, nobody. I closed the shop. My husband said, how was it? I'm like, fine. Week one went by, nobody walked in. Week two, I just had this old lady, and she's still she should be in her 90s now. She was my first client. She
Okay.
just walked in. She said, I just saw this little house. What are you doing? I'm like, well, I braid, I do this. She was like, oh, give me a haircut. I gave her a haircut. She was my first client. And we still talk to today. She has moved to like a nursing home. So once in a while, she just calls me out of our nursing home in Mount Angel just to say hi. So she adopted me and my kids. So she's a hot white lady. So I gave her a haircut. She was my first client. And people started to say, what else can I do? I said, oh, I can't do $6.99 haircuts every Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I started getting people in, and end of the month I can't pay the bills. And I tell my husband, "Oh, I can't pay the bills." My husband said, "Don't worry, the bills will be paid." So the first month I panicked so much, and my husband gave me money, because we have a joint account to be paid. The
Yeah.
second month I told myself and I told God, I don't know how it will happen, but these bills have to be paid by itself. So by the time it's the 25th, I'm already panicking. I say, "Oh Lord, I don't know how to pay the rent and the utilities and everything." And I remember the word I heard from God: these bills will be paid. But
Huh.
because we are human and we're the clients, one way or the other, I notice a trend when it's like the 30th or the 1st. One client will walk in and give me a fat tip. Maybe I needed like $500 for my bills, for my rent to be due. And how much was the rent then? It was just 1,200
Yeah.
as at then, 12 years ago. And I would have paid all the bills, and somebody would come and do her hair for like 150, and she could probably give me a tip of like $150. That's like paying double. And I would have
Yes.
exactly how much I needed. So month two,
Hmm.
month three, it happened again that somebody would just come and just give me a big tip for doing that hair, and I would have enough. By the time it was month five, I'm like, there's no need to panic again. These bills will be paid.
Yeah, no, no. Let's stop there for a second because you did something that is very important. Your husband knew that you couldn't be stressing every month because if you're stressing, then you cannot function in your electrified creative realm self, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you
Yes.
did something important. You said, "Excuse me, Lord, these are your bills and you need to take care of them." So there's a terminology that's called putting a demand on the anointing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
Yeah.
and it's not bad. We can talk to the Lord straight up. It is not bad to
Yeah.
say, "Father, you told me to get this business. These are your ladies' heads that I'm working on. And so now these are your bills.
Yeah.
So carry on."
So I just knew it would be paid. So even so, when I come from work, you're like, how was today? I'm like, nobody. You're like, don't worry. If they don't come today, they'll come tomorrow. So along the line, I got pregnant for my third child. So
Okay.
meanwhile, I go to the shop with my kids
Okay.
when they were young. So I have a special need one. So I just go, and I have clients that just love him. So they'll just hold him while I braid their hair. So I got pregnant.
Oh.
I had this third child. My mom left 1 month after. I had to go back to work 2 weeks after because I'm like, I just opened this business. I can't afford to lose the few people I have.
Yeah.
So I went back 2 weeks after I had the baby, and I was just going based on appointments. I was not opening the shop for anything. But by the time it was 4 weeks, I'm like, I'm fine. I just went back fully. And my mom was gone. And I had this baby that would not let anybody feed him. It won't take formula. It will only take breast milk directly from my boobs, which means I can't leave him with anybody.
Nobody.
So it won't even take it from the bottle. So I take him to work. When my client comes in the morning, I quickly feed him. I nurse him. I go in the kitchen, nurse him real good. If he's sleeping, I begin to tap him. Come on, wake up, take this breast. So when so I make sure he's full, then I put him on my back. Not the way we put the babies on our back in Africa.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had no helper because right now I think, how did I do it then?
Okay.
So I put it on my back and I'm braiding for 6 hours. So when it's like 3 or 4 hours, I will ask for permission from my client, give me like some minutes. I'll go to the kitchen, change his diapers,
Yeah.
feed him very, very well. Because of course he'll be hungry because he's on my back. So he will
Yeah.
sleep.
Yeah.
Feed him very well, put him back on my back with the wrapper and go back to my braiding.
Oh gosh.
Meanwhile, I was pregnant. I braided the whole day, the day I walked into the hospital. My babies never come on time. I have to be induced. All of them. Because every time I'm pregnant, I'm always thinking this will be the miracle one that my water will break. My water never breaks.
Okay.
So, so So I walked in, I'm like, this baby needs to come out today. So because I was just tired. So you can imagine on my feet for 6, 7 hours, nobody to help.
Oh my
So when I had the baby,
gosh.
it continued. The day it turned 6 months, I just put this baby on the floor.
Yeah.
All my clients took care of him.
Ah!
The guys, yes, the guys will hold him. They will go to McDonald's, buy him chicken nuggets. They'll buy candy. Like when I'm doing haircuts, this guy, when this I'm done with this customer, they give him to the next customer. Done with that, they give him to the next customer. They give him. So he just got spoiled with all the clients holding him. And they feed him. When he started crawling, I just put it on the floor. I have all these old magazines. I let him fix on them. It just makes a whole big mess. When we get home, when he poops, there's so many hair in his food because it's eating everything on the floor at the salon. And that was how I did it for till it turned 4, till he went.
Wow.
His first words was, "Mommy, client here." Because when they're talking,
I
he
love
will
it.
stand by the window. He will be waiting for the cars to come. He said, so, but when he sees a car, he'll be so happy that at least, no, it's just not myself and him in the shop.
Yeah,
Because if there's no clients, we just be looking at each other, we'll be talking to him. But when he sees a car pull in, he'll be so excited. Oh, client here. He will just say, client here, client here. That was his first word.
oh my gosh.
And
Oh my gosh.
till tomorrow, all my clients still hacks of it because, he had a blast. They trained him. And I had nobody
Yes.
helping me, no assistants. He was the only one,
Oh my
the poor boy. And
gosh.
he's 11 years old now. So,
Yeah.
so
Oh
as,
my gosh.
so as I was doing it, people started asking me. So, and I could cook. So I was, anytime I go for an event, I would just cook for them because, I was baking
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
And I was just like, maybe we should try this. And I remember someone came from Texas and told me, there's nobody who does African food. You can try it. I'm like, it's a lot of money. I can't do it because it's a lot of investment. And
Yeah.
but I made the first push by making inquiries.
Okay.
So I have learned to always make inquiries even when I'm not ready for something, because that inquiries is what I put on the table and I begin to imagine it. I've learned to make inquiries, write it down. So I wrote it down that I wanted this. And I remember when I got to Oregon, I came to Oregon probably a broken woman. Not like I was broken or distressed. I only had my husband. I didn't know nobody. I was coming with a heavy heart. What am I going to do in this town? And I remember when I stepped into sailing. That's not that story. I met an angel in the hot shuttle that asked me if I believed in miracle. And I said yes. And she squeezed something in my hands, because she said she's been looking at me from Denver or something. And she didn't go back into the bus. This woman literally disappeared. And when you feel something strange
Oh
and you know that this is not
Yes.
normal. I was cold, I had goosebumps, and I began to shake. She disappeared. And when I opened my hands, it was $100. And the message I got was like, you are meant to be here. And then I told God 3 things I wanted. I said, God, I wanted a salon. I wanted an African store. And I wanted a restaurant. I didn't know how it was going to happen. So fast forward, after I had my son, when he was like 3 or 4, I can't remember, I started thinking about the grocery store. I'm like, okay. I was just praying about it, whenever I remember. And out of the blue, somebody called me from New York. It was a distant uncle. He was like, we're not blood related. Like I knew through my uncle. It was my uncle's in-law, something like that. He said, Ola, do you still want to do business? I said, yes. He said, well, I will set you up. Said, I bring in containers of food from Nigeria and I will make you the sole distributor in Oregon and pay me whenever you have it. I'm like, that's it.
Wow.
You remember I have made inquiries from different people. I needed like at least 10,000 to start this business.
Yes.
And I didn't have it. And out of the blue, somebody called to say, I will set you up, send you everything you need, and pay me whenever you have it. No pressure. Till tomorrow, I still buy from him and I pay him whenever. Of course, we are Christians, so we are children of integrity. And he knows that I have the integrity. So I pay him. Even when I'm not done paying for the one batch and I still need something, he will send to me because he knows I will pay him. He was my God sent. And I started the grocery, the African food, without getting a loan. So little by little, started telling people, started growing and growing and growing. And like when it was like 7, 8 years in that place, I got shells. And I was just like, what else? I'm this woman that my life can never be boring. I'm always thinking about the next thing. I don't know what to do. If I don't have anything going, I have to look for something to do to myself. So I told my husband, I want a beauty supply. So we're like, this place is too small. What can we do? So I'm like, let's go get a credit card. So I got a credit card so we got a shed. I got the biggest shed, Lowe's or Home Depot got the biggest one. We put it behind the shop. I got an electrician. We fixed it up. I said, a beauty supply. So in my mind, I was like, even if I'm not doing your hair, you're buying hair from me.
Yeah.
All my competitors that always say, this is business. You will have people say bad things about you. And it's all out of jealous. But I told myself, even if they don't talk to me, they won't have a choice than to come to me. If they will not sit on my chair, they will send their clients to buy hair from me. If they will not do that, they will buy my products. If they will not do that, they will walk into my shop and they will buy food because God has given me Salem to possess.
That's right. That is right, sister. That is right. That is right. That is right. That is right.
So, all these hair competitors that feel they can compete with me, I know God has been good, and I'm not the perfect person. I always tell myself I'm not even very good at hair, but it's the grace of God that makes the difference.
That's right. That's right. And it's also that instinctively placed inside of you is a desire to bless. You don't see people as dollars. You are, I will become the source. Let's think of Proverbs 31. It says, she considers a merchant ship and buys it. That's a barge, for goodness sakes. That's not, she considers a little teeny tiny kid's playboat. No, that's not what it says. A merchant's ship and buys it.
Yes.
Oh, man.
And from doing hair, I developed so much relationship. I let people know. I have a lady, one of my first clients. One day she was like, "What can we do to this your shop? Maybe you should stop playing Christian music and just like." I'm like, no. This shop. I said, for you, it's a privilege for me to do your hair.
Hello.
Because these hands are blessed.
Hello. Which means.
So I said, so till tomorrow, my shop is all gospel.
Gosh! Which means every single head that you've touched, you've anointed the minds.
Yes.
Oh.
I have had situations where, being a hairdresser is like you're a doctor.
Yes.
People sit on your chair for 3-4 hours and they tell you their life story. And now stop. Let's pray. I pray with them. And they go. I've had situations where I'm working on somebody, say maybe doing a perm, and another person will walk and I say, "Hola, come, God has done it." I'll take them to the kitchen. I'm like, "What did God do?" You say, "You remember we prayed about something last week or 2 weeks ago? God has done." I'm like, they'll quickly just come and give me a hug. "Oh, thank you. I say, bye. I need to go back to my clients.
Wow.
I have had that happen so many times. I've had situations where I have, like, when I do my $6.99 haircuts, I have all these old men, Mexicans, everybody, like they just walk in for, it's a cheap haircut.
Yeah.
And I have had this. I had this particular man. He doesn't speak English, so he would just show me on his phone how he wants his haircut.
Okay.
because I'm always late too. I'm always late to work. So when I have a client and they're already waiting for me, so once I get them, like, I'm so sorry, I'm late. So I quickly sit them because I'm not really totally, adjusted. I probably won't put on the TV for gospel,
Okay.
and they will ask me, Ola, what's going on? Where's your gospel music? I'm like, I said, because
Oh.
every time I had one lady said, every time I come here, I feel the presence of God. Every
Oh.
time I walk in here with a bad mood or something, my life never remains the same. That she walks out elevated, encouraged. I have my days I don't want to talk, but they will always talk to me because the music is making sense to them. And meanwhile, I'm always playing all these Nigerian Christian songs, English, Yoruba, all kinds of languages. So some of them don't even understand. So I had this old, I was talking about the Mexican man. He said, so he was able to speak in English. He said, I don't understand what they're saying, but I know it's gospel, that I keep coming here because of the song. I don't know. You know how powerful songs are, even when you don't know the meaning. It says they're so powerful, it connects me. I have somebody who just come in to buy some, said, these your songs. It's as if I need to go back to God.
Oh,
It is not blessing them, it's
wow.
sending a message for them to reconnect back to God.
Huh.
And that's the environment I wanted to create.
Huh.
So it's just been,
Wow.
then the food started. Like now I've been like, Lord, I don't want to do hair again, but looks like I can't do that because I have people that told me, oh, life, don't do hair. When during the snowstorm, I had a client came with his truck, picked me up from my house to the salon, bought me breakfast, lunch to do her hair, and brought me back home. Because it's not just the hair, it's just the force behind it.
That's right.
Because it's a ministry. Every business you find yourself to do is
That's
a
right.
ministry.
That's right.
And this is my motto. I teach people around. I said, any job you get, do it as if God is your boss. Don't do it that it's just this ordinary man, this, old man that owns the business, or you're working for the state. If you're working for the state is your indirect boss. God is your direct boss. So put in your effort as if God is the one paying you. So
Huh.
if God is paying you, it means you have to do the job right. You have to put excellence in it. So that's the way I work.
That's right.
And sometimes I say, Lord, I need more than 24 hours. As I'm finishing one, yeah. And God already told me you can't have more than 24 hours. That's all you get. Deal with it.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, sister. So let's think of this for a second, okay? So if we think of, I don't follow this, I don't follow this leader, okay? I'm gonna name drop someone. I don't follow her, uh, but I heard her say one thing once. Joyce Myers said once, a gang load of people would be coming up to her saying, "Oh, please pray for me. I want to be in a ministry." Da 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 da. Right? And she said, "Tell me about your work ethic, because if you tell me about your work ethic, I'll tell you about your ministry." And they would go to tell her something, and she was like, "No, you're not cut out for ministry, because you don't got a work ethic, right?"
Yes.
And so I remember within the month before, I was called to a board room by the Father himself, and that is how Sagionic was downloaded. Sagionic 1027 to interview business minds was downloaded in a board meeting that I was called to by the Lord. Okay, couple of weeks before he called me into the boardroom, I woke up in the middle of the night to the sound of my own voice. I was sitting in a boardroom, and my own voice, I said it once in my mind, and then I heard out loud, "Any time you take your talents, your gifts, and your abilities to use them for people, it is ministry."
Yes.
And you have demonstrated that. Now, so we've got the hair, we've got the food, We've got the kids. Now, there's none on your back today, but I did see your picture of your little one, right? And so it's going to be fascinating to see what the Lord has in the horizon for you. Okay? So I would like you to break down to viewers, how did you learn to partner with what I call the creative realm of the creator?
Okay. How I balance? Is that the question?
Yeah, no, just like how did you learn to, like, a thought comes your direction and you didn't say, I can't do that.
Oh,
How you began to partner with these thoughts that were coming at
okay.
you. Because
I
your
get it.
husband's like, whoa, I got to keep her in balance because she's, okay?
Yes.
So, but how did you
So
partner with the thoughts that were dropping down?
every time something drops in my spirit, the first thing I do, I write it down.
Okay, okay,
Because one
write
of
it
my
down.
favorite songs is in Habakkuk 3:3. Write the vision, make it plain, that they may run and not faint. Though the vision is only for a while, it shall speak and not lie. I write it down and I present it to God. And I begin to think about it. Because we're also in the era of social media.
Okay,
And now let me give a practical example. I have my akara pancake, I have all those things. So when I brought the idea of having my pancake,
okay,
I've seen it somewhere before, but I know it has to be somewhere online.
okay.
But I had to make mine different.
That's right.
What can I do?
That's right.
Research, research, research. I will be on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, looking at what people have done.
Okay.
And I'll begin to write what they have done. And I'll begin to think, what can I do different? So I begin to write it down and I begin to watch. I'll do all kinds of research. I can spend 1 hour looking for something. 1 hour, another day, I will go online, read about it. I just do all kinds of research, looking at everything. And I'm not even scared of competitors.
Because
Every product I
there's
have
no
made,
competition. There's no competition. There's no
yes,
competition. There's no such thing as competition in my brain. No
yes.
competition.
And guess what I do too?
What?
I order their products.
I
Yes,
love it.
I order their products. Yeah.
I love it.
So I have all these kinds of pancake that's not regular pancake in my kitchen that I'm yet to try. But I try some of them and I'm like, no, this is not what I want because there is an idea that has brought it in my mind and I know what I'm looking for. Since yesterday, I'm trying to make coconut mix. I have cooked coconut rice 5 times already and I'm going to cook another one tonight. I don't give up until I get what I'm looking for. I cooked coconut rice on Saturday. Yeah. I cooked like 3 or 4 times yesterday. I cooked in the morning before church. After church, I cooked like 3 different. I kept changing the recipe. And I already made another one tonight that when after this interview, I'm going back to cook it. I don't give up on the way until I get what I want.
That's right. That's
I
right.
keep doing it.
That's
And I'll give a
right.
good example. So when I was making my drop donuts, the puff puff, the African donuts, that was the hardest thing that I've ever done because, oh, thank God for my neighbors. Everything I make, my neighbors eat it. Oh, yes, yes. I send it to them, put chicken, everything. But if the food is good, I'm just looking for something. I
Yeah.
make all the snacks, I give it to them. Oh, they're blessed. My friends, I take it to the shop, my customers and everything. So one Sunday I've been making because I just wanted it to make because my idea of my product is that I wanted to make it African food simpler.
Okay.
So I do not have to spend too much time in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So I did it. And that Sunday afternoon, I just broke down. I started crying. My husband has never
Oh.
seen me in that state before. He said, "Was it? Oh, I'm tired. This thing is not just working out." He said, "Someone sit down
Oh.
and sleep." I said, I'm not sleeping. And I can't count how many times I did it. He said, sleep. I said, I'm not sleeping. He now started giving me example of the people that formed the light bulbs,
That's right.
that they
That's
did it
right.
over 99 times.
That's right.
I said, okay. He said, promise me you will sleep. So I just sat down on the couch. Every Sunday, we always have this nap after lunch. We just
Yes.
take a nap on the couch, everybody. So I just sat on the couch like this. 10 minutes, I woke up. He said, where are you going? I said, I'm going back to the kitchen. He said, but I told you to sleep. I said, now I got it. I went back to the kitchen,
Yes.
the mix, and I got it.
Yes. Yes.
I needed
Yes.
to cry.
That's right.
I needed someone to comfort me. And I needed to sleep for that 10 minutes because that's where the inspiration comes from.
Huh.
I
Huh.
woke up in 10 minutes. It was like, you didn't sleep. I'm like, I got it. He said, Aisha, I said,
Huh.
this time I got it. And I went back to the kitchen, put the mix together, tried it. It came out perfect. And I'm like, I told you I got it. And that was it.
Huh. Huh.
So try. I keep trying. And if I needed to sleep on something, I sleep. But I never leave God out of the equation. Because I tell my kids, I tell people around me, God is interested in the smallest thing you ever do. No matter how small, how minute that thing, God is interested. So that 10 minutes sleep, as I was sleeping, I was just praying. I said, Lord, just help me. And that was the sleep. And I just got the formula in my head and I woke up like I opened my eyes. And I can't forget that day because that was the only recipe I cried for. Every other recipe, I just keep trying and trying and trying to like God. But this particular one, I cried. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's what I just keep doing. I write it
Wow.
down, I change it, I Google, I order. If I had to order, I watch and I pray. And I've had situations like when I did my fried rice, the recipe was given to me in a dream.
Okay. Okay. Of course
When
it
I
was.
was doing all my rice products, like I would try and try and try. Fried rice, I did it one time and I got it because I got the recipe in the dream.
Huh.
And I woke up, I wrote it down, and I did it one time and it was perfect. That one was a special one.
Mm.
But the rest, I had to do it over and over and over again until I got it. I don't look at how much money I waste. I tell myself I don't waste money. I'm investing.
That's right. That's right. And when you and you're a businesswoman, so when you make something and you take it into your shop, oh, what's that? A tax write-off.
Yes.
Because it's for
Yes.
your clients. It's hors
Yes.
d'oeuvres. It's hors d'oeuvres for your clients. For goodness
Yes.
sakes. Yes. And the neighbors, you hook up the neighbors, and then your house is always safe.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
And it's so everyone around me like they even said all the school bus drivers in Salem, they already know me because I'm like, I have to feed them. They have to be
that's
nice
right.
to my kids too.
That's
I feed
right.
them too.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Because
Yes.
food is a universal language. Food is
Yes.
just like hallelujah is the same straight across the board.
Mm-hmm.
So is
Mm-hmm.
food.
Yes.
So is food.
So that's what I do. So once the idea comes, I start putting it together. I start writing. So the first thing I always do to see if anybody has done something like that. I always
Okay.
just go online to look.
Okay.
And if I see, I order it.
That's amazing. That's amazing because I call it night watch. Okay, when stuff drops down to you in the sleep realm, right? My husband will say to me too, Shawn, how come you're not sleeping? I was like, you don't understand. Once those thoughts start, you're like,
Yeah.
and you can't, you're just like, oh my gosh, that's so good, Lord. Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's so good. And you're just downloading all these thoughts. And it's an honorable place to be on the receiving end,
Yes.
but to partner and come into agreement with it,
Mm.
because what you're sharing with people is that you don't get to a certain age, you don't get to a certain space and say, okay, that's good. Instead, it's like, okay, what's next? Okay,
Yes,
what's
it has to be what next for me.
yes,
It has to be
yes.
what next. Like, I'm not done with one, I'm already thinking about the next one.
That's right. That's right. Because let's think of this for a second, okay? So, uh, my hair has a natural weave to it. This is the natural curl, the natural color, everything, right? But somebody, but even at that, you see darker shades underneath because we're getting into the winter months, right? But somebody came up with the idea on how to use aluminum foil to put color in,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Somebody came,
Yes.
back in the day, the first time I got my hair braided, that was back in the day when you still did the little beads on the bottom, the little beads,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
And my poor girls, when they were growing up, when I would French braid their hair, they used to do this because if not, once mom was done doing their hair, their eyes were up like this.
Yes, yes. That's a facelift.
Yeah, because you had to do it tight to get it to stick.
Yeah.
And so, wow, this is so good. This is so good. So, I would like you to just be led by the Lord. How do you like snap people into, like, call them forward? And I want to use the word activate. Okay, so let's think of this in permland, right? There's a chemical that you have to mix with another chemical in order to get the colors that you
Mm-hmm.
need. Okay? So I would like you
Yes.
to take the physical realm with the spiritual realm, combine it, and share a word with our viewers. Because we've got about another 5 minutes.
Okay. Okay. I think the first thing that just comes to mind is that as a woman, acknowledging God is your first step, is the first step. I always say, God made man and he needed the icing on the cake. He made a woman. And he has deposited so much in us that you shouldn't die with the things God has put in you. Give it out. If you have to write a book, write a book. And I say, some people, the ministry they are called into is just to smile. Because I always imagine somebody who committed suicide, if someone has told them that God loves them 5 minutes before, maybe they wouldn't have done it. So use your potential. You are blessed. Everyone God made on earth is filled with potentials. So you have to just use it and bring it out. Let others be blessed by what you do. So enjoy what you do. Have a heart of servanthood, because for you to be a leader, I was just telling them yesterday, I said, for you to be a leader, you must have a servant heart.
That's
You
right.
must serve first before you become a leader. And then what else? Just make yourself happy. Enjoy life.
That's right. So I would like you to spend a moment, and potentially there are viewers on that don't know this King Jesus that you speak of. So I would like you to share with them, how do they step into this exhilarating peace that you function in, right? This joy
Yeah.
that you function in, this wisdom that you function in. So I would just like you to invite any viewers who are watching this, maybe they don't know this Jesus.
Okay, I would just like to say something. If you don't know Jesus, you're missing a lot. And one thing, you might have the perfect and good life, but Jesus makes the difference. He just makes the difference. It's time for you to rededicate your life if probably you walked away. And if you're just hearing this for the first time, Jesus is ready and available anytime to take you. The book of Revelation says, I stand at the door and knock. If any man opens unto me, I will come in unto him and sup and probably have dinner or lunch or supper with him. And I always say, God is just waiting for you. is ever loving. You're the one that needs to come. Once it knocks at the door of your heart, and I'm sure you've heard this message before, but let this be the prompting for you tonight that Jesus is just waiting. He loves you the way you are, no matter how bad you feel you've been, how grievous your sins are. He's just ever willing to forgive. So just come to Jesus and he'll save you and make your life anew. He's waiting, and there's still reservations in heaven. The rooms are never filled. They're still waiting for you.
Amen. Amen. Sister Ola, I cannot even begin to thank you enough for your time today. What a way to finish my day. What a beautiful way to finish my day. I'm looking forward to coming down and having you fix up my hair. You will love it because
Anytime.
you can go as tight as you want, and the Sister Shawn over here is not going to complain, right? And I could be your new I could be your new 54-year-old model.
Yes.
You know, to just share the natural gray. They call my hair virgin now because
Yes, it is virgin.
it's not curled, it's not colored, it's the real thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I just, and just for our viewers to know, I've never sat down and had a conversation with Sister Ola. I met her one time a couple of, back in 2018. And from a distance through Facebook, I've continued to pray over her business. I've continued to bless her. I've continued to just oh, Father, bless her, bless her, bless her. So as you all have been able to enjoy her tonight, I have immensely enjoyed my sister.
Thank you.
So I just want to thank you all for tuning in to Sagionic 1027. And stay tuned for our next guest that will be coming in the near future. And may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon thee. Blessings. Bye.
Bye. Have a wonderful night. Thank you.